Good evening, and you're very welcome back to Around the Grounds here at Finalwhistle.ie. Another Saturday evening worth of WNL action, of course, to dissect for you. We had 5 games down for decision today. Reporters scattered across the different grounds, and we'll bring you all of the reports as they happened to come from the game. We will start with the game down in the Athlone Town Stadium, where Athlone Town were in action against Sligo Rovers. Athlone Town, of course, looking to continue their recent run of form with another 3 points this evening. Bringing you the live report is Sean Comer.
Yeah, Diarmuid full time, and it's 5-0 to Athlone Town here against Sligo Rovers by a comfortable distance. Their biggest win of the season so far, a completely resounding win for the Midlanders. A miserable afternoon for Sligo in the wet weather here, and it only took 2 minutes for Athlone to get going. A throw-in was poorly dealt with by Orna O'Dowd. She handballed it, the ref pointed to the spot, and Emily Corbett stepped up and slotted it in. And that was just the start of what would be an amazing afternoon for Emily Corbett. In the 9th minute, Kelsey Monroe swung in a corner and Kelly Brennan butted in. A replay from behind the goal shows that it hit off Kelly Brennan's arm, but that was not obvious at all. Sligo players didn't protest. It didn't look like it at first, but nonetheless, the goal stood. And then in the 12th minute, really, this was sealed. Jessica Hennessy played a long ball over the top. Corbett ran in behind to get her second, made it 3-0. And that was it really for the rest of the first half. I suppose Sligo did have a couple of chances. On the half-hour mark, McCrory was fouled just outside the area. Doherty stepped up and Niamh Coombs kind of spilled the ball, but it didn't really go into a dangerous area. It just went wide. In the 37th minute, I suppose Emily Corbett could have had a first-half hat-trick. She just found herself... The Sligo goal was at her mercy. She went for the lob, but just completely overhit it and sent it over. And in the 43rd minute, Melly for Sligo had a shot at the near post, but Niamh Coombs held it well to keep her clean sheet intact for the first half. In the second half, about 10 minutes in, Doherty found herself one-on-one with Coombs to try get Sligo back into it, but that was saved by Coombs. She held on to her effort. And then on the hour mark, a very nice goal was scored for Athlone. A free came in. Corbett flicked it on the edge of the area. Kaylee Shine found it, flicked it back to her, and Corbett put it in. It was a really well-worked team goal. Looked like it might have come off the training ground. That made it 4-0. And then in the 68th minute, a handball from a cross was given against Sligo. This was another penalty, again, like the handball earlier. This one was not obvious, except the referee spotted it, pointed to the spot. Corbett stepped up to make it 5-0, get her 4th goal of the afternoon, and that was really all the action for the rest of the game. A resounding win for Athlone, and they now have 3 wins on the bounce, so they're in a very rich run of form now in the WNL.
Perfect, Sean. Thank you, of course, for that report from the Athlone Town Stadium. Now, another team looking to continue their charge up the top of the table were Wexford Youths. They were in action this evening as well, down in Galway in DC Park against Galway Women's FC. Watching the action for us was Mashape Omeni.
Yes, Julie-Anne Russell with an 86-minute equaliser, 2-2 the final score here. A frantic game, 2 minutes in, and the hosts, they were given a dream start, Visiting goalkeeper Maeve Williams will not look back at today fondly. She made a big mistake in the area. There was a goal mouth scramble, and who was on hand to score? Becky Walsh. 1-0 after 2 minutes, but 2 goals in 3 first half minutes. First from Becky Watkins, and then a Kylie Murphy penalty made it 2-1. I think on the balance of play, they deserved it. They were in the ascendancy, but unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize. Second half was a stop-start affair. Lots of ticky-tack fouls. The referee was at first he was doing well, marshalling the game, and then he started bringing out the cards. There was a bit of temper flaring in the dugout, and ultimately, Galway's pressure showed. They made a lot of substitutions, and it was fitting that their best player on the night, Julie-Anne Russell, was the one who scored a deflected equaliser. Brennan's weak cross unsettled the Wexford back line. Sub Nicole McNamara reacted quickest. She teed up Russell, who hit a deflected strike into the far corner. 2-2 the final score here, and it's a result neither side will want, but at the end of the day, they both had chances to win it here.
Thank you, Mo, for that report. Now, DLR Waves were also in action this afternoon. They were looking to try and get back to winning ways and get up the league table. They took on a struggle in Cork City at the UCD Bowl, and watching the action for us was Jack Joy.
Yeah, Diarmuid, DLR Waves 6, Cork City 0 at Belfield today. Cork City really couldn't lay a glove on DLR. Katie Malone hat-trick in the first half really kind of sealed the deal before the second half even began. I think today's fixture really epitomised, I suppose, the gap between the top four sides in WNL and the bottom sides like Cork, Treaty, and I know Bows had a good result today, but there just seems to be a big gap between the sides. Cork did probably have some good chances early in the half. Lauren Singleton, she scored a brace against Treaty earlier in the week. She had 2 chances, but she was denied on both occasions by Eve Bandana in goal for DLR. Probably the foreign keeper in the WNL at the minute. I think it was her 5th clean sheet today. Katie Malone poked one in after she got onto a cross in the Cork box. DLR had been bombarding the Cork goal before that, and it was just a matter of time, I suppose, before Malone had scored. Unfortunately, after that, the midfielder Mia Dodd, she did get injured for DLR, and there was a lengthy kind of break in play as she got medical attention. She was taken away in an ambulance. I think it was a leg injury, but you can't be sure. She looked to be in a lot of pain, so hopefully she'll be all right. Katie Malone, just as play restarted, Katie Malone got a very similar goal to the first, and that put DLR 2-0 ahead. Just before half-time, then Malone scored again. I suppose it kind of summed up the DLR versus Cork performance. DLR were pressing Cork high all match, and the Cork full-back, Sarah Foley, she tried to go back to her keeper, and keeper failed to control it. Malone got to the ball ahead of the keeper and another defender, and she was able to lob it over the keeper and the Cork defender to seal her hat-trick and put DLR 3-0 up on half-time. More of the same in the second half. Kerry Letman struck very early for DLR to get a 4th goal for them in the 46th minute, and then Avril Brearley and Kerry Letman again scored before the half ended. Nothing really to report on the front for Cork. They made a lot of substitutes, and they just weren't very good in the second half either. So it was DLR Wave 6, Cork City 0 at the UCD Bowl today.
Perfect, Jack. Thank you, of course, for that report. Now, earlier on today, Peamount United were in action. They took on Bohemians down at PRL Park. Could the league leaders continue their challenge toward the top of the table? Watching the game for us was Alana Canan.
This Dublin derby yielded fireworks in PRL Park, with WNL leaders Peamount United drawing 1-1 with 9th place Bohemians. Lisa Murphy drew blood first for the Gypsies in the first half, but there was a penalty at the boot of Stephanie Roach that ensured the side shared the spoils. It will feel as if it's 2 points drop for James O'Callaghan's women, given the title race thickens with main rivals Shelburne. Although for Bows the result was hard-earned but fair, and they will hope they can carry the momentum into their upcoming clashes. Against the run of play, it was Bows who hit the back of the net first. Reflective of their season so far, they proved their tenacity from corner kicks to find Murphy in the box, who then looped the ball over Needry Burke and into the bottom right of the goal in the 26th minute. Dora Gorman and Kira Bates-Crosby had a dangerous collision of heads around the 40th minute, forcing United into replacing Gorman with Lauren Kelly just before half-time. It remained 1-0 all the way until the 62nd minute. There Murphy again found herself amid the action, fouling Roach in the box with a sliding tackle and inflicting a penalty into the game as a result. The Puskas goal-nominated player then converted her own chance from the spot, equalising the match at 1-1 with plenty of time remaining. Jetta Beryl entered the fray for Peas then in the 58th minute in replace of Alana McAvoy, and enjoyed a few half chances herself, although couldn't get the ball fully under control to get a proper shot off. A winner wasn't to come to fruition, however. The final whistle concluded the affair at 1-1 despite Peamount's late push, the highlight of which saw Roach throw a superb effort towards goal, but it was a brilliant save by Rachel Kelly that kept it out. Next up, Peas battled it out with reigning champion Shelburne, while the North Dublin outfit aspired to continue their form versus Treaty United.
A big thanks to Lana, of course, for sending us in that report. Now, the other big team in action today were, of course, Shelburne. They were looking as well to make sure that they could edge in front, of course, with Peamount dropping points. Could they take 3 points from their game at Tulka Park against Treaty United? Watching all of the action was Sean Crosby.
Yes, well, full time here at Tulka Park. It finishes Shelburne 5, Treaty United 0. An extremely dominant performance from the defending champions, and they wasted no time at all in opening up the scoring. After just 3 minutes, it was Gloria Douglas who headed home a great cross from Megan Smith-Lynch. Douglas's opener was followed up just 2 minutes later by Jessie Stapleton, who headed home into an empty net after Fennelly tipped the ball onto the bar, but it was an easy finish for Stapleton. The game quieting down after that, to be honest. Shelburne remained in control as they did for pretty much the full 90 minutes. The next chance didn't come until the 20-minute mark when Douglas looked to triple Shelburne's lead but squandered a chance just inside the 6-yard box. It would be Saoirse Noonan who would make it 3-0 to the host just a few minutes after that. Great run from Abby Larkin to get in space on the right hand side. She floated the ball in, and Saoirse Noonan was on hand to volley home to make it 3. And just 10 minutes after that, it was the second for Noonan and the fourth for Shelburne. This time Chloe Mustaki over on the left side, another great dribble to go past her marker, left foot ball into the box, and Saoirse Noonan a great diving header to make it 4-0, and Shelburne led 4-0 at the break. Noel King made 4 changes at half time, and one of those subs, Gemma Quinn, had a handful of chances early on. She missed 2 glorious chances inside the 6-yard box to make it 4, but eventually Shelburne's persistence did pay off. This time it was Douglas once again getting on the end of a Alex Kavanagh corner at the back post to head home her second of the game to make it 5-0. After that, then again Shelburne pure domination, and they didn't let up, which I think is what Noel King will be happiest about, really, that they continue to pressure Treaty United. Trish Fennelly in the Treaty goal was called into action on several times. She made some great saves against Jess Gargan and Taylor White, and in 85 minutes she denied Gemma Quinn from scoring, and then managed to get across the gut box to save the follow from Taylor White. Looked like Gemma Quinn had gotten her goal off the bench on 90 minutes when she dinked Fennelly, but that goal was ruled for offside. But it finished 5-0 to the host. A great performance for Noel King's side, and just what they need going into next week's game as they welcome Peamount to Tolka Park at the same time next week. And obviously with results today and Peamount dropping points against Bows, it means that Shelburne are top of the table by 2 points. That makes next week's game really exciting. As for Tree, they continue their search for a point this season, and next week they host Bohemians at Markets Field. So finishes here: Shelburne 5, Treaty United 0.
And that was, of course, Sean Crosby reporting earlier today from the game at Tolka Park. Now we'll take a look at today's results along with our league tables as well to see what way the table sits, of course, this evening. So as well, Peamount United and Bohemians finished 1-1. Shelburne were big 5-0 winners over Treaty United. DLR Waves with that 6-0 win over Cork City as well. Galway and Wexford finished 2-2 at peace, while Athlone Town picked up a big 5-0 win there as well this evening. As the table stands, Shelburne are 2 points to the good over Peamount United. Of course, they will meet each other next weekend. Wexford Youths remain in third place on 16 points despite the draw today. Athlone Town up to 13 points with their massive win today. It's as you were pretty much in the league table. We'll look at the top scoring statistics as well. From the division, Anya O'Gorman remains the top goal scorer with Kylie Murphy and Ellen Malloy both on 6. Now joined by Stephanie Roach and Emily Corbett. Of course, Corbett with 4 this evening for Athlone Town. A big day for her in terms of getting the goals into the back of the net. Sorry, Malone had Malone as well. Katie Malone had a hat-trick in today's games as well, so she's now up to 4 goals, joining Sive Doyle with that one. And looking at the goalkeeping statistics as well, Eve Badana on 5 clean sheets. She is topping the list thanks to her clean sheet today against Cork City. She now has 5, while Amanda Budden is on 4 thanks to her clean sheet against Shells. Niamh Coombs with a clean sheet as well today, getting her 3rd of the season with the 5-0 win over Sligo Rovers. Now we'll look at the fixtures coming up over the next week. In the Women's National League on the 7th of May, Sligo Rovers will start the day's action with Galway at 2 o'clock. Bit of a local, bit of a Western derby in that game, while Shelburne and Peamount meet also at 2 o'clock, as the top 2 in the league will battle it out for the bragging rights to see who can stay top of the table. Treaty United host Bohemians at 5 o'clock, as Cork City and Athlone also kick off at 5 o'clock that evening as well, while Wexford Youths host DLR Waves as 3rd meet 4th there that evening. Now, looking ahead to Monday evening, we have fixtures coming as well from the men's First Division League. Waterford and Athlone meet at 2 o'clock. Wexford and Bray kick off at 3. Galway United and Longford Town kick off at 5, with Cork City and Treaty United in a Munster derby also taking place at 5 o'clock. So that obviously concludes all of our action from today. All of the reports from the Women's National League will be available on our website, as will all the league tables and statistics as well. And like I said, we will be back Monday evening for that. We also have other sports covered today as well, with AIL rugby topping that. We had an Around the Grounds earlier today. If you missed it, you can go back and look at all of the different reports from some of the AIL League finals. We also had GA live action as well on our website. So plenty of action to get you through until Monday, when we will be back again, of course, for more soccer action from the First Division, and we'll be back again for another episode of Around the Grounds. But until Monday evening, have a lovely rest of your weekend, and we'll be chatting to you again on Monday. But have a lovely rest of your day as well, and goodbye.